All right, so what we're doing now is we're going to shade each of our spheres according to our light source here. So I finished one and I made it look like the surrealistic artwork that we studied in class. So now I'm going to start on a second one. So if my sun is here, it would be shining down to this direction, and it's going to be lightest here, medium tone here, and darkest on the bottom. So let's start shading.
Miss Allen, can you hear me?
All right, now I'm going to use a blending stick, which is just a rolled up piece of manila paper. All right, and I'm going to blend. Look at that difference created already. So much smoother. All right, after I blend it, I'm going to go ahead and add in this line here, and I'll do it at the same angle. Should be the darkest point. Something like this. All right, and then I'm going to add on my highlight again and then blend that again. And then I'm going to add a highlight on here for the lip of this, and then a small reflective light on each side of that, because there would be light coming in from the sides here. All right, so I want you guys to shade your other spheres on your own. I'm going to save two of mine to do during class time. We're going to go ahead and move on to shading our clocks now with the same light source, which is our sun here. So if the sun is shining right here, this clock is going to be mostly bright, but under here it's going to be dark. All back here it's going to be dark. And y'all's will be different, so you really have to shade just depending on how you drew yours. Okay, so you're not going to be drawing the same thing as me exactly. So don't stress out, but just do your best. Now I'm just cleaning it up with an eraser and adding a highlight. Gonna clean up here. All right, so for the top part, I'm gonna go ahead and shade along the edge where there would be a shadow, and then over here we're gonna add a shadow too, and shade it just a little bit with my blending stick. All right, now I'm going to move on to shading my other clock. Actually, I'll wait and shade that one with you guys during class. Okay, so let's see. Next we want to do our eye. So this is going to be matte black because that's how it is in the surrealistic artwork that we're modeling our work after. So we're just going to do it pretty much the same. All right, next, oops, I'm getting a little crazy here. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and shade the outside of the eye. It's going to be darkest around the edges, and then it's going to be lighter here and middle tone here. So dark, and remember to curve your shading. Something like that. You don't need to shade too much because the pupil is typically white. Okay, so I think I shaded a lot too much, so I'm actually going to erase most of what I drew. Okay, I'm going to add back in this line. Okay, and then this is going to be the top of the eye. I'll go in here. Okay. Now back here we're going to draw clouds. And to draw the clouds, you can draw them however you want. I guess the way I'll do it is to create kind of some forms like this. and then have the rest be kind of gray. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll see if it works. All right, and then I'll get my blending stick and blend with the end that I haven't used as much yet, so it will be like less dirty. Now I can see that the clouds aren't standing out very much. I'm going to go ahead and kind of outline them. Give them kind of the effect of like a cartoon cloud. So we have a little bit of shading and a little bit of a cartoon cloud. So that seems like a good compromise. I'm adding a stronger highlight here to differentiate between the eye and this sphere. Okay. All right, so something like that would be looking pretty good. All right, so the next thing that we would want to do is start to shade our background. So I was thinking that the background could be dark to light gradient because the sun would be up here. So that's what I'm going to work on. Probably not going to finish during this amount of time because we only have like 3 more minutes, but I'll kind of start off and give y'all some pointers. So it's easy to shade medium tone for me, so I'm going to kind of shade most of this area as medium tone to begin, and then as I go, I'll build value. I definitely want my background to stand out from the objects in the foreground. So I'm going to need to make it either significantly lighter or significantly darker. All right, so this is just basically me coloring it in, and now I'm going to start adding value. I know that I want the bottom to be the darkest, so I'm pressing hard and adding a lot of layers. To keep a difference between my objects, I'm kind of just leaving a white reflective light. That may not be accurate. It may not be completely inaccurate either, but it's definitely going to help our art stand apart from the background. All right, we have about 1 more minute on the video. So get ready for me to get cut off. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and make a correction to the shading portion. Originally, I had shaded from dark to light going up through here, but I had also shaded in this general area. But since we made the correction to the perspective, I need to shade in behind this window and in these areas. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start in this section here. I know that this is my guideline, so I'm going from dark to light. So right through here, it should be about the same. So I'm going to try and copy this lightness onto this part. So I'm going to start shading in the corner. I'm using horizontal light strokes. And I'm not going too dark with this. That way, this will make a really smooth transition, hopefully. So it should be darker at the bottom by a little bit. And then go up. And it should match with the background here. So I'm going to get the tortilla that I rolled with a spare piece of paper earlier. Basically, just get a piece of paper like this and then just roll it up and tape it. This is already dirty because I used it to blend this. So I'm going to go ahead and smear my graphite using this rolled up piece of manila paper. Look at that. It does work so well. Like you can see before and after the lines versus the smudge. Like so much better. All right. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and add in some more value here. And blend that again. All right. Sweet deal. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually I can still see a pretty strong disconnect there, so I'm going to blend more. Okay. Now I'm going to clean up my edges with the end of the eraser. All right. Awesome. Now let's go ahead and shade behind here, and then I'll let you guys do this side on your own. So I already drew out kind of what I wanted to be here. I drew kind of random looking flower. Definitely not photorealistic, but doesn't need to be photorealistic for surrealistic art. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start shading again from dark up to light. So I'm going to get my darkest darks down here in this corner. I just sharpened my pencil so it's working a little bit better. And I'm just going to go up to the part where I had drawn. What I'm doing is I'm just pretending that the shading is going behind everything that I already drew. So I'm leaving that space clear, basically. All right, now I'm going to go back and add more layers, and I see that this needs to be a little darker too. So let's go ahead and shade, and then we'll check on it again and see how it should look. All right, let's go ahead and add more value. Another layer of graphite. Shading is so calming. It takes so much focus that you're not really like thinking of other things. It kind of clears your mind. That's one of the reasons why I love art, because I tend to think of like a lot of stuff and worry about things. And then when I do art, I'm just like one-minded, calmer. It's looking pretty sweet. Okay, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more here and all the way through to just kind of make that a smoother blend. And I'll have to go back and define my flower later, but I'll show you all that. All right, time to blend again. You can use your finger, you can use a paper towel, you can roll a blending stump like how I show you. Whatever works best for you. Um, I'll show you guys two things related to technique in just a moment. Okay, so you can see right here, and right here, there are fingerprint smudges. So basically, the way that happens is, let's say I have my hands and I touch the paper. The oils from my skin get onto the paper, and then when I shade with graphite, it sticks to it. So some artists, like some more professional artists, will even wear gloves when doing this kind of work so that the natural oils from your skin don't get onto the paper. Well, there's not really too much you can do about that. So if yours gets like that, it's a little bit disappointing, but it's going to be okay.